Today's video, the Texas Instruments TI-99 4A.
We review old technology from games to old PCs, and don't forget the toys. Don't get ancient electronics. We cover it all.
Today's video, we're going to be looking at an early home microcomputer, and that is the TI-99 4A from Texas Instruments. Now, there was a TI-99 4 that I believe was released in 1979. The 4A is basically just an upgraded version of the original TI-99 4. This is what you'll usually see is the 4A. So we're just going to talk about the 4A here. This version was released in 1981. And it basically competed with the other earlier computers, the Apple II and the Commodore 64. The TI-99 was sort of overshadowed by those machines where, the Commodore 64, the Apple II are seen as, like iconic early home computers and gaming machines. I don't really get that feel from the TI-99. This was very common. I see these all the time. These aren't rare or anything. A lot of people seem to have them, but they're definitely not seen, looked at as fondly as, say, the Commodore or the Apple II. I'm not sure why that is. Might be the lack of, like, killer apps or, like, exclusive games on this that were, like, really, like, as I said, like, killer games on this thing. So I don't see the love for this machine as I see for a lot of those other early machines, and it does have some significant things. At least as far as Wikipedia tells me, it was the first 16-bit home computer, so that's pretty interesting. So just some quick specs on this thing. This uses the TMS 9900 CPU. It's running at 3 megahertz, although I have seen several sources on the internet say 3.3 megahertz, so we'll just round down to 3 megahertz, but specifically it might be 3.3 megahertz. For sound, it uses the TMS 9919 or the SN9462T, I think. It has 3 voice and 1 noise channel. It is 16 colors, 16K of video memory, and I believe stock it's 16K of RAM, but you can expand it up to 52K, I believe. Yeah, so those are the quick specs on this machine. It's sort of famously or infamously, the spokesperson for this machine was Bill Cosby. He was in a lot of those old commercials shilling for the TI-99 4A.
Looking for a powerful home computer? This is the one. Texas Instruments home computer. With 16K memory, it can take you a long way.
But yeah, other than that, this thing isn't looked at very fondly. You can still get as of 2025, you can still get these things pretty affordably compared to other machines. Prices on everything have gone up, but I remember you could get these not even that long ago. So back when, like, I remember even back when, like, the normal price for, like, a Commodore 64 might have been like 60 to 100 bucks, you could still find TI-99s in the box. Pretty much complete for like the $25 mark. These don't seem, as I said, very desirable compared to the other older computers, and they still don't go for a lot of money. I think the price has gone up a little bit on these things. Of course, you'll get people asking stupid, unreasonable prices for anything vintage, but if you look around, you can still find these things for a fairly reasonable price. So we're going to look. I actually have quite a lot of little accessories and things for this. And stuff I've never tested. So basically, in this video, we're just going to be, I'm not going to open this machine or anything. We're just going to hook it up. I'm going to see if I can get the various peripherals I have for this machine working. And we'll just take a quick look at a few games. I don't really have a lot of games for this thing. But basically, I just want to see if I can get it working. If this particular machine doesn't work, I do have 2 other backups, so it will be an interesting video. We'll be testing a lot of things here for the first time. I don't even know if this, I think I've powered it up, but I've never hooked it up, so I don't even know if it works, so we will see. Just a quick go over on this machine. Keyboard actually, I mean, I'm not a keyboard snob. I know there's some people that are really into keyboards. It feels okay. I mean, it's a little mushy. It's not great by any means, but it's better than like a membrane keyboard. So, not a terrible keyboard here. Alright, so we have Texas Instruments TI-99 4A computer. We have solid state software badge right here. This is actually a cartridge port right here, so this is primarily a cartridge-based system, although you could get a floppy disk drive for it, which we'll look at here. I have one of those peripherals. But a lot of the games, I don't know if I'd say most, but it seems like most came on little cartridges that you would put in right there. And let me just show you a cartridge here. So this is, I have no idea what this is. It is an unlabeled beige cartridge. Most of these cartridges are black, but it would just go in just like that. You'd lay it down, and there you go. It just fits in like that, and then you power it up, and it would run whatever cartridge you have, and then you just pop it out, easy peasy. Very simple on the front here. We just have a very simple power switch and a power LED right there. On the side right here, we have an expansion port for obviously expansions. On the back, very simple back here, we have a joystick port. We have a power connector here, sort of a proprietary sort of little power connector there. And then we have a connector for monitor. So you don't have like RCA jacks or an RF port or anything on this. You actually have like a monitor port there. And then, strangely enough, on this side, we also have the other joystick port. So you get a joystick port on the back, and then one on the left side. And that's basically the that's basically it. That's the TI-99 4A. Very basic. You can't really open it up and like add expansion cards or anything like that. So yeah, so I guess the next step here is to just actually see if this basic unit here works, and then we'll take a look at things like the monitors and the peripherals I have for the TI-99 4A. Okay, so speaking of those ports specifically too, because this is something I just found out. So this is the actual controller port here for these not very good official joysticks, I guess you would call them. And there's dual joysticks on one cable here, so the joystick port does support two in the same port. Now keep in mind, even though this looks like an Atari compatible joystick port, it is not. It is proprietary to the Texas Instrument controller. So you plug in a Atari or a Genesis joystick into that port, it won't work. Now there are converters that you can plug in here and then plug in your Atari or your Genesis controller, and I would probably recommend those because the official ones are not very good. Now this sort of identical looking port back here, you might think that's like another joystick controller. I certainly did. It is not, though. This is actually the cassette port to connect your cassette deck for, loading games from cassette, which was, quite popular at the time as a method of, saving and even loading games. So, and yeah, so you need I believe it's a proprietary cable that plugs in right there, and then the other end of it has the 3 audio jacks that you would plug into your, tape cassette recorder deck. And then you could load games or save to it and things like that. So yeah, sort of interesting, and possibly slightly confusing setup there for controllers and the cassette deck. I also want to say really quickly, even though I said I don't feel these machines get the love that maybe the Commodores or the Apple IIs get, or if you're in the UK, maybe even the the BBC Micro. Those kind of machines. That doesn't mean this thing doesn't have people that love it. There is a community around this machine, as there is around basically anything these days, but you still get people making homebrews for this, things like that. I worked with the guy that grew up with the TI-99, and this was like basically his only like home computer, in the early 80s, mid 80s, and he has very fond memories of the TI-99 4A. He loves this machine, but I'm just saying, in general, I don't see it as loved as some of those other machines from the same time period. So here's the power supply, really quick. Got your little Texas Instruments logo on here. Very interesting. It's not a wall wart, but I think there are actually two versions of this power supply. I think the earlier one was a standard wall wart, and I think this is the later one that they did this configuration where the, whatever you call this part, actually doesn't go into the wall. It's like a separate. I actually like that design better when you don't have to use a wall wart. And you get a standard plug, and then this thing, whatever the reason that's on there for. And then it has this weird connector here. This is actually fairly strange to me. And then this lead right here, it just goes out into your TI-99 4A. So that's the power supply. I also have some joysticks here. It's actually one, so one controls two of these. I believe these are the standard Texas Instruments joysticks. Very, very uncomfortable. And then lastly, I have a monitor connector. This is a new one. Obviously, I got this from Retro Computer Shack. I think I got this from the UK, actually, specifically a Texas Instrument TI-99 4A. For the NTSC model, and it is a composite video AV cable. So we should be set as far as that goes. And very quickly before we move on, there was actually also a cost-reduced version of the TI-99 4A released. It's in this sort of beige plastic case here. As far as I know, it's basically the exact same machine underneath. It's just this case here, and it's been a little bit reduced cost-wise. I don't know, maybe the motherboard is a little bit more integrated, but I'm not sure. As far as I know, it's pretty much exactly the same, at least as far as specs go. Keyboard, ooh, the T is sticking. Still doesn't feel great, but you know, I'm not a keyboard snob. Basically the same. One big difference here is that power LED and the switch right here is gone, and it was replaced with this simple switch right here that says off and on, and that's it. So you lose the LED, which kind of sucks, but I guess it saves them a couple cents on each unit produced. Again, keyboard port, or not keyboard, joystick port. Same on the back here. Monitor. As you can see here, though, this has 4 prongs instead of 2. I don't know, maybe those are 2 are grounding or something that they left off of the earlier model, but I guess that's a different. So I guess that's a difference. Your power, the supply, whatever. I think all the supplies for this are still universal, even if you have an older power supply. I don't think it matters. And this is the expansion port. I think there should still be I think they still had a cover. Mine's broken off, or maybe, now they would have had to have a little cover. I guess mine's missing. If these didn't actually come with a cover over the expansion port, let me know. But yeah, that's about it. So if you see one of these and it's in a beige case, don't get too excited. Nothing special, just the later cost-reduced version. Now looking here, actually, now that we were looking at the power supply, so here's the original one I have. Again, 2 prongs, but I have another one here. Like I said, these were very cheap at one time. They're still not very expensive, but this is not the beige case cost-reduced version, and it has 4 prongs on the power thing. So I guess that isn't. I guess there were some silver ones with the 4 prongs on the power connector there. So I guess that isn't something special for the beige one. Alright, so this is sort of my setup right now for my TI-99 4A. As you can see here, this big guy right here, this is actually the peripheral expansion bay. So it lets you add things like expansion cards and floppy drives. I'm not going to address that right now. We'll talk about that in more detail in a minute. Of course, here's the TI-99 right here, and then up top there is the official Texas Instruments color monitor. That is actually the second version of the monitor that came out, and the more I don't want to say popular, but the one that's much more common monitor is this second version. It's a proper color monitor. There was a monitor released for the TI-99 prior. I believe it was mostly for the TI-99 4. Of course, it's just a monitor, so they're interchangeable. But I think those were only released in 1979. I actually have one, and we're going to look at it in a minute. But for testing this machine, I know this monitor works, so I'm just going to hook it up real quick. Let's take a quick look at this version 2 of the color monitor, though. Okay, let's take a closer look here at the version 2 of the official Texas Instruments TI-99 4A color monitor here. Now, I don't know much about the tube. I don't know who made the tube in here or anything, but I do know these monitors aren't sought after. They're not like the Commodore like 1701 or 1702 monitors, which are like very sought after for retro gaming purposes, and they're just like very good monitors. I don't hear anyone talk about these monitors, so I guess it's just an average monitor as far as I know. They're not very sought after. You have a standard, well, okay. Well, so here is the power. So you turn, I think this is also the volume control, maybe? It's not plugged in right now, but that is the power and volume, I believe. So there is a built-in speaker. I guess this little button, for a second I forgot this isn't the power button, but this is to open your little panel in the front. So you just push this, boop, and it pops open. You've got vertical hold, contrast, brightness, tint, and color. So your standard adjustments there. I think this is like a 13-inch monitor, maybe even a 10-inch. It's not very big. Let's turn it around and check out the back of this guy. Okay, it is, for its size, it's quite heavy. As you can see, it has the silver look to go with, you know, the most of the TI-99s. So here's the back. Here we got model PHA 4100. This one was produced in January 1982. Standard 3-prong connector for power, which is connected to the monitor. Adjustments down here: sharpness adjustment between sharp and soft. Another vertical height, vertical hold, and then I don't know what that is. Some kind of service thing, pot. A little bit more adjustments than you would usually maybe see on these old monitors. So that's kind of nice. And then right here, I don't know what this is for, what that does exactly. And then we just have a composite connector for video, and then audio and audio jack. And you can use something like this to convert it to RCA. So we should be able to do something like connect this to the TI-99, and then this would connect there for the video, and then these two for the audio would connect into these, and then we should be all working. So let's do a quick test just to see if everything's working. Okay, so I have the most basic setup here. I have the controllers connected, and I have the monitor, the monitor connected here, and that's about it. This is actually one of the more well-known and well-thought-of games for this Parsec. It's like a shooter, like a spacey shooter game. This is one of the better-known and more liked games on the TI-99. I guess you could consider this one of the consoles or computers like killer software apps, I guess. So apps, I don't know. A piece of, killer software, I guess. I don't know. So we'll just do that. And then let me turn the monitor on. Oh, yep, you could hear the audio static. Okay, there we go. We've got some life in the monitor. So let me power up the TI-99, see what we get. Let's hit power. Ooh, and yeah, there we go. Good. Texas Instruments home computer. I mean, it's a little blurry. It's an old monitor. I don't know how well you can see it over here, but it looks okay. Yeah, press any key to begin. And then, oh yeah, so you can go into TI Basic, or we can go into the game. So if I hit 1, let's see what it does here. So that's TI Basic. I don't know any, but you can do your little home programming or whatever. Let me turn it off. I don't think there's a reset on here. No, I don't see it. So let me power it back on. There we go. And then press any key, and then I will hit 2 for parsec. And there we go. Looks like we're good. Let me see. So pressing the joystick keys isn't doing anything as far as I can see. There's parsec. Let me see. Alright. Sorry. Okay, so the joysticks don't seem to be working, but you can use the keyboard here. And I don't hear any sound effects. I don't know. Let me. Okay, there we go. It's very finicky, apparently. Yeah, so the audio on this monitor is very finicky. Where's the fire button? Press fire to begin. I don't know which button is the fire button. Okay, apparently this is the fire button. Alright, let's test this setup again. I do not have the PEB connected. I have actually never tested or even powered up this PEB. I bought it separate probably like 5 years ago, and I've never even tested this thing. And nor do I know how it works. So that's going to be an adventure for this video as well. So same setup here, just have the monitor and the TI-99 connected. So let's try this again. I didn't think this monitor looked bad at all. Obviously, it could use a little bit of adjusting, but for just, you know, I bought this monitor separate too, even longer ago, probably like 8 or 9 years ago, randomly off a guy that just had some monitors, and I haven't really used it since then. And you know, for something this old that's just been sitting around, I thought it looked okay. The audio issue, I might have to. That could probably be fixed. I can squirt some cleaner in there. That might help things. But right now, yeah, it's very sort of staticky. There we go. But when it does make noise, it doesn't sound too bad. So let me, yeah, power this guy up again. Again, I don't know how it's coming across there. Let me turn the light out and see if that helps. But it actually, it's a perfectly legible for composite over this old monitor. It's no 1701 monitor, but hey. Press any key, and then let's try parsec again. Let me grab a controller here. Alright, so I plugged it into the side port this time. Press any key to continue. Yeah, colors look pretty good. Now, so it's working. Like, I hit the button, and it's firing. Alright, let's try another game here. This is another well-known game for the TI-99. This is Hunt the Wampus. I believe this is an exclusive, and it's one of the more well-thought-of games. I've never actually played it before, so let's see. I don't like that initial sound it makes when you start it up. Press any key. Oh, look at this, we get a lot. I do like this. I like when you have a game in there, it doesn't just immediately load it. It takes you to this select screen where you can select basic or the game, although this has several options for the game. We have Hunt the Wampus. Oh, I'm guessing maybe these are in different languages? Maybe that's French, and I would think French and Spanish or something, but I don't know. Chase o Wampus and Wampus Jagged? J-A-G-D? That's an awkward word. Again, on my LCD here on the camera, it just looks like it's just bright white. So I don't know if you guys are actually seeing anything here. So let's just go into the game. Let's hit 2 for Hunt the Wampus. Ooh. Nice. So there's a sample of some of the sound on this thing. Okay. So this is like a maze game. We'll go easy maze. Normal, blindfold, express, blindfold, and express. Let's do normal. So here's an example of a game that uses both the cart and a cassette or a diskette. And this is an early role-playing game, Tunnels of Doom. As you see here, it came with the cart here, Tunnels of Doom, and also get a cassette with it. Alright, so let's talk about the cassette deck peripheral, which is a fairly common peripheral you had on these early computers, early home computers. So other than the cartridge here, which I believe all the cartridges were read-only, I don't think there were any cartridges with like batteries that you could save or anything on. You had other means to save a game or load games, and one is obviously the if you were fancy and you had money, maybe you had a floppy drive and a peripheral expansion bay here, which we'll talk about momentarily. But the kind of the commoner's way would be the cassette deck. So you would have games on cassette, and you could load games usually fairly slowly through the cassette deck, and you could save via the cassette deck to cassette tapes. So this is the Texas Instrument program recorder. I think you could pretty much use any kind of recorder device from the time period. This one is all black, but there was another one that was beige. And I don't know if that came after or before. I don't know if there's any difference between the beige one and this black one, but there is a beige Texas Instruments official program recorder. So anyways, you have like, your standard stuff here: record, play, rewind, forward, stop, eject. You have a speaker right here. Obviously, if you want to just you could put in music. You could just use this to listen to music if you want to. But there is a battery bay back here if you want to do batteries, but you can also connect it straight to an outlet, so you don't have to worry about batteries. And then you have some ports here. You have I think this is another alternate connector for power. This is 8-volt DC. But then you have ear. I think that's like headphone, speaker. Then you have mic. So this is your audio out. This is your microphone port, and I think REM. I think that stands for remote. So I think technically you only need to use these two, but the remote function is, I think, specifically for if it's hooked up to your TI-99 and you're like doing it. No, it lets it know like when to pause the cassette and when to. I don't know for sure, but yeah, there's 3 ports here you have to worry about. This one's different size. And then, what do we have here? One of these is volume. Okay, you have tone and volume right there. And of course, you're going to need a connector here to connect to that port on the back that you would think is a joystick port. I thought it was a joystick port at first. I thought it was a joystick port at first, but apparently it's a cassette deck port. So some of these are just one, but this is an official Texas Instrument cable, and it actually has two, so you can hook up two cassette recorders, and one just has jacks for, I believe, the audio out and the mic, and the other has the third one for the remote. So I'm not sure why you'd want two. Maybe this one you'd hook up two at once, and maybe this one you'd play your game, and then maybe on the other one you could like save, and then you don't have to like switch cassettes or something. I'm not sure. Anyways, I should probably test this thing. So I wanted to show you the process of loading a game like Tunnels of Doom from a cassette. So Parsec's in there now, but basically, like I showed you earlier, you have Tunnels of Doom here on the cartridge, and this is basically like the game engine basically on there. So you put that in, and the cassette tape has the scenarios on it, and that's how you would save. So you would start the game up, it would say like, hit enter like a normal game, and it will say like, how are you loading the scenarios, like cassette deck or a floppy disk. And this was working. This was running just fine, and unfortunately, in the middle of trying to load the game, it just stopped. So you probably can't see, but I'll hit play, and there's no sound. Whatever those spindles aren't moving. Fast forward, rewind, nothing works. So I'm not too surprised. The thing is like 40 years old, so more than 40 years old actually. So probably more than 40 years old. So yeah, probably a belt broke or something. I don't know. It just stopped working. I have a generic one of these. You don't need a Texas Instruments one, just as long, I think, as it has the three connectors there. And I have one somewhere, but with the moving stuff around, I don't know where it is. And I should probably get this video out. So unfortunately, I'm not able to show you loading a game via cassette. Because, well, this stopped working. So let's check out probably one of the more common expansions for the TI-99, and that is the Texas Instruments speech synthesizer. Now, this was the first affordable speech synthesizer, I believe, that was available to the consumer market, your average home user. So that makes it kind of interesting and significant. So what this did, this connected into that side expansion port, and it basically added speech digital voice synthesis to a few games. How many games? Now the number I keep getting is 8. I kind of thought there was more than 8 that supported this, but maybe it's only 8 that supported it. It has this opens up on the side, so it does have a pass-through, although mine's a little bit... There, see? So it does have a pass-through, and then it connects directly into that expansion port on the side. And I don't know why this opens up. I don't know what this is. It's a little mouth, or like maybe you can hide drugs in there. I don't know. If anyone knows why this little thing opens up, it's probably something really obvious and I'm not seeing it. But as far as I know, I don't know if you can, maybe it was meant for like you insert little expansion things in the future. I don't know. I don't know why that little thing opens up. So I do have Parsec, and this actually is one of the 8 games that do support the speech synthesizer. Why am I having trouble with that? It does support the speech synthesizer. So let's connect this to the TI-99, and let's listen to Parsec with the speech synthesizer expansion. And there it is, connected to the side expansion port. Looks pretty nice. It doesn't look too bad. It's fairly small. Doesn't take up too much space. Gives your TI-99 a little mouth that you can open. Maybe you can feed it, shove macaroni and cheese in there or something. Alright, so I don't even know if this thing works. Now these were pretty common. You could buy these separately, but I believe eventually they started bundling them with software that supported it. So I see these a lot. I saw these bundled with TI-99s on like Craigslist and offer up a lot. So they are, I don't think they're too expensive, and they're probably, they seem to be pretty available. So this isn't like a rare add-on or anything like that. I think they made a lot of them. Alright, so let's give the synthesizer a spin here. Alright, let's power this thing up. I think we're fairly centered there. Alright. Turn on the power again. Fiddle with this thing. Obviously we're going to need the sound here. And let me hit power. Alright. Okay, got a buzz, but we got sound. So let's hit 2 for parsec. And let's listen if we hear anything different.
Press fire to begin.
Okay, cool, yeah. So now you get hit fire to begin.
Alert. Alien craft advancing.
That's pretty neat. I mean, it doesn't add a lot. Obviously, it doesn't add anything to the gameplay or anything, but it does surprisingly kind of add a little bit of, I don't know, ambiance? I don't know. I think it kind of fits this game. Again, like I said, it doesn't add a lot, but...
Alert. Alien craft advancing.
Wow. Well, I don't know.
Laser on target.
I have to admit, this is kind of a fun game for as simplistic as it is. As far as like similar games I played, like Striker, where it's like a helicopter on the IBM, this is definitely superior.
Ships attacking.
Huh. So yeah.
Alert. Ships attacking.
So, you know, that was the speech synthesizer, you heard it. I mean, it doesn't add a lot, and obviously it's only a few games that actually support the synthesizer. Now, all the games that use the synthesizer, it will run on the TI-99 without the synthesizer, but the handful that do, as you've seen or heard, do add a little bit of voice support. I don't know how well it works with the other games. I've only used it here with Parsec, and I mean... Would I have paid much for this? I don't know how much this went for back in the day. Would I have paid a bunch for it? I don't. It doesn't add much, but it did add something. It was kind of cool, and it was especially been cool, I think, in the early '80s to have voice like that. It was pretty clear, actually, for what it is. And you know, it matched that like robotic woman's voice, and you're on a spaceship, and it's supposed to be. It was kind of cool. I'll admit it. The synthesizer, I thought, did add to the experience with Parsec. I liked it. Some of you might be like, that's pointless. I liked it. I wish I had more games on hand that supported it so I could hear what it sounded like. But it's a pretty cool add-on, in my opinion. Alright, so let's now finally talk about the PEB, or the Peripheral Expansion Box. Technically, I guess it's PES, Peripheral Expansion System. So, this is a giant box that you use to expand your TI-99. Now, this box is about as big as a PC IBM compatible of the time would have been, if not bigger than some of them. You know, this would be like the size, if this could be a beige box 386 or 286 desktop PC for the size of it. But this is what you would use to if you wanted to expand your TI-99. There's a little expansion card somewhere inside, and it uses this, I'm guessing, to connect to that expansion slot on the side. And you add cards to it, and you can add things like memory, real-time clock, obviously floppy drives, I think like even a SCSI card for hard drives, all kind of goodies. Very, very useful. This one I've had, again, for several years. I have never used it. I don't even know if it powers up, so we'll see if this thing even works at all. Keep in mind there were 2 versions of this, so like the color monitor, there were 2 versions of the PEB. There was an older one and then a newer revision. This is the older revision. They're very similar. Some of the big, if you want to spot between the older and the newer right away, take a look at the power switch. The older one uses a push button, and the newer one has like a rocker switch. There's some other differences too. They're more or less the same, although I have heard most people want to go for the older one, if only for the reason that the older one has a fuse in it that's like easy to access. So if you blow a fuse in this thing, it's easy to change. Whereas the newer one, the newer peripheral box, the fuse is a little bit harder to get to and it's kind of hidden. So, you know, that might be the only reason you would want to choose the older one over the newer. Basically, they're more or less the same. Well, there are some minor differences. So, I guess I will bring this thing down. We'll take a little bit of a closer look at it. Take this lid off. I don't even know what cards are in here. I think I opened it up once. So we'll look at that, and then we'll see if it even works. So yeah, this should be fun. So first thing I want to say about this thing is it's heavy. It's heavier than a beige desktop computer of the era, probably, or very similar in weight. This is metal. I mean, it's not thick metal or anything, but it's quite heavy. So, and then this, man, even this cable, I think my users used to call this the fire hose, because it's very, at least it's kind of, you know, it's durable. Very thick cable. So let me spin this thing around and take a look at the back. Alright, so here is the back of this case. Of course, we got a fan here, internal fan, a standard 3-prong connector here. Do we have a date or anything on here? I don't see anything at a glance. So here's the fuse, external fuse. I'm guessing you would just unscrew it and pop it out, and then you could just switch the fuse. Again, as I've read on the newer versions of this is much harder to get to. It's not that simple. So it does look like there's other cards in here. I think these are the floppy drives. Yeah, okay, so the floppy drives are here. Although I'm seeing an external connector here, not here. This, not some kind of maybe parallel port card. There's another connector here. So this is some kind of card for something. Whoa, that looks like some kind of audio card, maybe? I don't know what's in here. Like I said, I opened it up and glanced at it maybe 6 years ago. Here's the interface card. So yeah, another change too on the newer version. These are shorter for whatever reason. Like the metal here, I think it's only like here. I don't know. They're like half height, but they're fully compatible. Both boxes, the newer revision and this older one, are fully compatible. So cards will work in either just fine. So I'm guessing I just unscrew here and here, and then I think I can pop the top off. Okay, so kind of a weird way to attach the top, just the 2 screws and these weird little latch things that fall off. But after that, the top comes right off, and there's the top, and then there we go. So I was wrong about the floppies. This is not one of the floppy drives. I guess the floppy drives have their own little enclosure here where the 2 floppies. I think these are 720 or no, I think these are 360K floppies, I'm guessing, unless it's a weird Texas Instruments sort of proprietary-ish floppy disk thing. But I think these are 360K floppy drives in here. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 expansion cards that I don't know what they are. I know this one is. This is the flex cable interface. So this is the card that this thing uses to interface. Obviously, here's the power supply. Cool, okay, so this one is a memory expansion, 32 128K memory expansion. Disconnect power before removing. Well, that's not a problem. So, at 32 slash... Does this bring your memory up to 128K? That's pretty cool. So, okay, so there's a memory card. You see they're in these little protective cases. They look like cartridges. This is an RS-232 interface. Alright. Card. And then this last one here is a... I don't know. Myark Inc. Basking Ridge, New Jersey. There's some more writing on it. I'm not sure what this one is. So, we do have 8 slots here. This isn't ISA. As far as I know, it's some kind of, proprietary sort of thing. So I don't think there's much to look at with these. I don't want to open the casings. I want to take this one out because I'm not sure what this one is. These ones are self-explanatory. these two are official because they do have the Texas Instruments branding. This one, okay, this is the same as them, so this is like a third-party memory expansion. But I don't know what this is. Probably just some kind of expansion, some kind of connector. So I don't know, whatever. I mean, I guess the memory is the most exciting thing in here, or the memory is the most exciting thing in here for me, and the floppy drives. I don't really, I'm not planning to hook up, you know, whatever. I don't know. I'm going to take this out and take a look. Okay, so duh, I don't know what I was thinking. Like these connected internal, like there's a connector in there, whatever. This is the floppy drive interface card here. Like I said, it's not an official Texas Instruments one, but it's right there. Double and single density floppy disk controller card. So yeah, and then I guess this right here, it actually, you know, connects to the floppy drives. Obviously, that's just an external floppy drive connector for adding more floppy drives, I suppose. So yeah, that's all this is. So yes, this is very important. And these just come right out. You just pull them right out, and that's about it. So I don't know why a memory expansion module has an audio connector. I have no idea. That's weird. But it does. Unless it's not actually an audio connector. Let's just take a look at one of these official interface cards here. Oh, pretty hefty here. Feels pretty professional. So yeah, so I am going to reinstall these things, and hopefully it works. We'll see. Okay, moment of truth. I know this is very janky and haphazardly all connected up, but whatever, it's connected. I did take off the synthesizer. I mean, technically there's a pass-through here, and you should just be able to pass through, but just to eliminate variables, I removed that, so it's like directly connected here with the interface card. I don't know the sequence of how we're supposed to turn these things on. I'll hit the monitor first. Okay. And then I would think I would maybe turn this on first and then the computer. So again, I don't even know if this thing's going to kick on. So let's see here. I don't think there's an LED light. You hear that? The fan. Yep, fan. Power supplies, yeah, definitely humming. So I guess that's how you know if it's on. The thing is fairly loud. So let's hit the TI-99. Okay, standard screen there. No, I'm still getting I don't see anything different. So maybe this is something where you have to like go into basic. I don't know. I went into basic. Yeah, it just says. So I don't know how this thing works. I thought maybe the interface card would give me a different kind of screen, and maybe it's supposed to. So I don't know. I didn't get anything from the floppy drives either. I didn't get any reaction from them. They didn't like test themselves or whatever. Turn power off and wait 2 minutes before inserting or removing a peripheral card. Okay, yeah, we did that. That's fine. So let me try turning it off. Ooh, you guys hear that high-pitched sound? Anyways, I'm gonna hit it again, and I don't get anything. Maybe something has to be inserted in them. Let me try that. Okay, so I do have a couple discs here. A lot of them just look like homemade. This one's like the Savage Island series, and obviously you can see here it's an official disc for the TI-99. Don't even know if this is good. I also inserted that mysterious white like dummy card there. Maybe that's part of the. Maybe that is like needs to be in. Maybe that came with this, and I don't remember, and you have to install that for this to work. I don't know. I doubt it. So let me. I don't even know which one of these. Like that maybe, or would this be A? I don't know. Let's see if that makes a difference at all. Okay, let me. Hey, look at. Interesting. 428K bit OS. See, I didn't get that option before, and that I do have the memory expansion. So okay, so that's interesting. So let's hit 2. Loading 128 KDS, or is maybe that's a memory? Confusing. So it is loading here. Can't find file 128 OS. Press any key to retry. Nothing's happened. So okay, well that's different. So, wait, I hear it. Well, you might know. It's okay. So it's trying to do something. Now the light isn't coming on, but I heard it trying to access. Let me try. That is interesting. Is this floppy the right? It's hard to figure out which way is the right way. Sorry, this is very happy. Aha! Look at that! Aha, so okay, so this thing has something to do with this. This is like a mystery. But I don't even know if these drives are good. So like, this could not, the drives might not be good. The interface cable is a little rough, so this might be bad. The disc might be bad. So I don't know, but it's doing something. It's talking. So something's going on there where it's talking. There's something. And look at that. Look at that. Look. Is that okay? 1. Okay, so oh cool. These are like LEDs. So I guess these light up to tell you if one of them's active. So obviously the peripheral expansion card is active. I guess that would always be active. So this would act maybe as like a power LED sort of. Okay, so I'm gonna play with this a little bit. I'm not gonna put too much effort into this, but I might try a couple things, and if I get something to work, obviously I'll put it on camera. If not, we'll probably wrap up this video. Okay, so I've been trying to do some basic things with this TI Basic. I'm trying to just access, kind of like do a dir directory command just to see what's on the floppy disk or if it will access it. I mean, this is what I'm getting on the internet, call cat, and I think that's right just to look at the disk, but nothing's working here. So there is a way to do it. Again, I'm going to do a little bit more research, but no big deal. If I can't get it running, I might in time, but I'll probably just wrap up the video. But yeah, this is interesting. At least it's going. It's a little bit better than I thought. I mean, it seems to actually be functioning more or less. I think right now we're just dealing with user error. So I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos and see if I can figure anything out here with this thing. So here's our setup here, and there is the Model 2 color monitor for the TI-99. So right next to it here, this is actually the original Model 1. If you see on the badge, it says TI-99 4. It doesn't have the A. So this was really meant for the original model. Of course, it will work with the 4A, TI-99 4A. Yeah, so this came out, this is a pretty rare monitor, I believe. It came out in 1979 with the original model, and I think it was only on the market for about a year, and they had to pull it because it was some kind of FCC violation. I think there was like inadequate shielding in it or something like that. It is basically a 70s color television that was kind of like hacked into a computer monitor. So nothing super special about it. It's just kind of interesting, and it really wasn't sold for very long. You know, there's some pluses and minuses, I think, between this monitor and the Model 2 here. Obviously, the original ones, I think the screen's a little bit bigger. I think that's a 14-inch screen, and I think the Model 2 is maybe a little like 11 or 10 or something like that. I'm not sure. You get more adjustments on that one, where I don't think there's as many like adjustments on this one here. I suspect maybe the speaker setup on this one, the Model 1, might be better because it has that forward facing sort of TV speaker. So this one might have better sound. I don't know though. I guess we'll find out. I don't even know if this works. So the story behind this is I picked this thing up like 13 years ago at a Goodwill. So at least in my area, 13 years ago, Goodwill used to still accept CRT monitors. And basically in the back part of every Goodwill around here, they either had shelves or it was on the floor. You'd have a bunch of CRT monitors, and they were always, they were $1. They just wanted to move them. And I passed up a lot of good deals back then. One of those, I don't remember what they're called. I think they're Samsung television, but they're like a gaming TV, and it has those doors on the front that open up, and there's like speakers and subwoofers. I seen one of those there once for $1. I passed it up. I wasn't as knowledgeable at the time. I think I just stuck my nose up at it because I was like, oh, it doesn't have component connectors, so I passed it up. That was stupid. Those have shot up in value crazily. But I seen this guy there, and it was $1, and I knew immediately what it was, so I grabbed it. But it's basically been sitting in my closet for 13 years. So when I brought it back, I did test it. I didn't connect anything to it, but I plugged it in, and it did power up. But other than that, I haven't tested at all. So this thing could be dead. But I guess that's what we're going to find out today. It does have this sticker on it here. I have no idea why I didn't put that on there, so that's from whoever had this thing last. There is the on, off, and volume dial right there. Let me pull this out. I don't think there's much on the back except maybe the power cord, but let's take a look. Alright, so here we are. Here is the monitor up a little bit closer. I mean, not the best cosmetically, but I mean for what, 40-some years old? 80s, 90s, yeah, like 40-some, 44-ish years old, give or take. I guess it's not in too bad a condition. The screen, I don't know, I guess I should probably clean this a little bit more properly, but it doesn't look the greatest. Here is our speaker grill, but it's not really, it looks pretty solid. Like, I don't see a lot of like holes or perforations, so even if there is a big speaker behind there, I don't know how well the sound's going to come through. We have a carrying handle right here, although this is a pretty heavy set. I'm not sure how much I would trust that. And then right here we have some adjustments and the labeling for them right there. I guess it's about the same as on the other monitor. On the back here, let me turn it around. Okay, here's the back. We got a nice chunky 2-prong power cord here. Zenith Corporation. Yep, here we go. Here's our manufacturing date, August 1979. So 79, and it's a 70s monitor. And then we just have these connections here. Video in, composite video in, and our audio in that uses that audio jack again. And then we have this test switch, and you press it and it just goes back to its original. I don't know what that is. Is that like a cutoff? Like if you're running a video signal and you can cut it off temporarily to test it? I don't know. Does anyone know what that weird test switch is, or does it deal with the audio? Don't know. but there's a test thing there, and we also have a spot here for like an antenna, like little like bunny ears if you want to set them there, I guess. So interesting. So yeah, that's about it. Power cord, of course, is hardwired onto this thing, and oh, a nice little thing to put the cable. Anyways, yeah, that is the monitor. So I guess we're just gonna test it now and see if it fires up, and hopefully doesn't catch on fire. So I'm a little bit nervous. Like literally, this has been sitting in the closet for 13 years. So smoke test, I guess. Probably not the best place for it to be on the bed if it starts smoking and sparking. But okay, so I'm sure that won't happen. Alright, let's turn the TV on. Okay, I heard it. It is on, but I don't see any like life on this screen here. So that's not good. Let me turn I'll turn the computer on. Oh, we have life. It's black and white, but, and I mean, this side here looks a little bit off, but I'm getting, actually, this looks crisper than on that. And it might just be adjustment stuff, like this might just need adjusting, but the letters actually look crisper on this here. Let me play with some of those dials. Let me at least see if I can get some color. So that's good. That's a good sign. That's pretty cool. And I'm thinking it's probably just the sharpness. I probably just need to adjust my sharpness on that one to get that one looking better. But this doesn't look bad, although I cannot get, so here's color level button. But I cannot. This should be blue. And I'm getting a little bit of color. I'm trying to play with the tint. And I'm not getting color on this. There's the black levels. No matter how much I adjust it, I cannot get color. I mean, I can get a little bit of color. It's like greenish and brownish and khaki-ish there, but like not getting color. I'm going to try running the game. So let's do parsec here and see what we get. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I mean, it looks good for its age and what it is. But turn that off. Yeah, but it's just like, I mean, I guess it's a black and white TV now. But as you can see, it's like kind of darker here on this side. There's sort of like a fading thing going on. But I mean, it almost works. Let me turn. Yeah. I mean, the sound is definitely coming out right here, but it's not. It doesn't sound any better than it did on the Model 2, except maybe it's less finicky, but it's not very loud.
Alert. Alien craft advancing.
Yeah, I guess the sound really isn't any better.
Alert. Alien craft advancing.
It may actually sound a little worse. But, well, I mean, it kind of works. If anyone here knows, if anyone in the comment section has any idea why the color's gone, let me know. I mean, is it it's always a recapping issue. It's like, well, it needs recapped. I mean, is it worth recapping?
Alien craft advancing.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess it works for a television / monitor from 1979, which is what, like pushing, was that 40 years now? Like 45 years old or 44 years old. That's it sitting in a closet for at least the last 13 years. It technically works. I mean, that's good. It's something. I mean, it's actually usable. So that's good. But okay, so I guess I will be sticking with the monitor, the Model 2 there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this monitor. Is it worth restoring? Do you think it needs a recap? Is there something I'm missed? Like, why am I not getting color? Or is the tube just completely worn out? And I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I did try moving around like the composite connector and like taking it out and cleaning it and stuff. I thought maybe that would help. But it maybe the tiniest bit, but it's still, yeah, like it moves around a lot if you touch that and jiggle it, but it really, that hasn't helped. Yeah, it really hasn't helped with the color issue. So again, I'm not really sure what's going on there. Alright, so I guess this would be like what my TI-99 setup would be. Yes, I did move everything. Sorry if there's a bit of an echo in this room. But yeah, this would be my TI-99, I guess, optimal setup. Again, never really got the peripheral expansion bay working. Not quite sure what's going on. I did look up and watch some videos, and it's just I can't get it to do anything. Obviously, it turns on. I think I got it to like seek for the floppies, but I can't get it to read anything from the floppies or anything like that. So I'm not sure if this thing is working or not. But yeah, you got your terrible controllers here. You know, got the TI-99, got the voice synthesis here, got your cassette deck. So yeah, it's all good. So I do have modern things. I think they even have like a compact flash thing that connects to the back that replaces this whole thing. That's pretty cool. But so what do I think of the TI-99? It's not bad. I mean, there's some, like, Parsec's a fun game. There's some fun games on it, but I can see why it kind of lost out to things, especially like the Commodore 64. But I mean, it's an okay home computer. Price again is still relatively good on it. I'm not crazy about. Well, I can't comment on the older monitor because, well, mine isn't working. If anyone knows why it's not doing color, let me know. Is it capacitors? It's always capacitors. But you know, I'm not. This is okay. It matches the matching mark, but like, I'm not thrilled with the quality of this thing. It is what, like 40 years old, so maybe it looked better back in the day. But it is no 1702 or 1701 Commodore monitor. I can say that. But you know, it works. It's still working for 40 years old, so that's something. Joysticks terrible, horrible. But again, you can replace these, I think, with something else that will work. So yeah, there it is. TI-99, not one of the most fondly remembered computers of the day. Let me know, what do you think about the TI-99? I do know it has its fans out there, so yeah, let me know what you guys think.
This is Bill Cosby. Now that everybody has told you about the dangers of doing drugs, I'd like to tell you about some of the benefits. Just imagine yourself unconscious.